Okay, here we are again. Happy Sundays with Cinnamon.
It is happy for me. I like this.
I know. Well, speaking of happy, we're often unhappy when we're in addiction.
We're
And
always unhappy in addiction.
in addiction.
And that, wait, I have to clarify that. We always are unhappy in addiction, and we create the illusion that we're not. For instance, if you're addicted to booze and you have the booze, you think you're happy. You create the illusion of happiness. If you don't have the booze and you're addicted to booze, there's nothing happy about it. So see what I mean?
Yes.
So that addiction is always the cause of suffering. And the mind is so wily, it will convince you, oh, no, it's just a few drinks after all. And then it's a few more, and then your head's in the toilet bowl. So it always ends up in suffering. There are no good addictions. There are no little addictions. Addiction is addiction.
Well, let's speak about addictions that people often don't think about, like addictions to a person,
To a person,
to a boyfriend, to a
here's
girlfriend.
a good addiction, your children. But it's good to be addicted to your children. Yeah, and those are usually the children that are so choked off from overcorrection and overwhelming and over everything that they usually want to just push away. They either become exactly like you and remain miserable the rest of their lives, or they overcorrect and they push away everything you represented. And either way, there's no happiness.
So give me an example of someone addicted to their children. Like a,
I'll give you me.
oh, okay.
Years ago, when I was in training with Ken, I was addicted to my children and I was miserable because here I was away from them in training. I was a bad mom because I abandoned my children for months at a time sometimes. And yet, if you look at it carefully with a microscope, I was useless to my children with all the addictions I had to them. It's like they were my identity. And it seemed that it was a good addiction because when I was around them and when I was being praised for being these beautiful children's mom, I had twins, the Boots, who you met last week, and her brother, I was creating the illusion of happiness. And when I didn't have them as my front people, and I just had me, who was not likable, in fact, at times detestable, I was miserable. So I've been addicted to my children. I know the difference. And when you go through hard times with children and you're not addicted to them, because I've seen that part of the world too, the difference is indescribable. It's
So
night and day.
let's go back because you said you left your children and some
For
people,
training.
yes. How long did you leave them?
Months at a time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I was so miserable. I was suicidal half the time, and it was either go down with the ship or rise. I had reached a place where I was so miserable, and you have to reach that place in order to surrender fully to whatever it takes. You have to be against the wall because addictions are so strong.
yes, they are. And often we just don't even know we are in them.
And that one to your children is so justifiable. The whole world will support you in that. Well, of course, your children come first and this and that. And what do they tell you on the airplane? They don't tell you put the mask on your child first. So because how are you going to truly be prepared to help them if you're suffocating and they have the mask on? Then you die, and what do they do with themselves? They're orphans. They don't know what to do. So we live in a backward society in many ways where consciousness is concerned.
We do. That's a fact, Jack, right there. What about addiction to the good opinion of others?
That is a killer that permeates society. That's what it means to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, and that's what it means to be addicted to your children going to a certain school and being addicted to looking a certain way, and that good opinion of others is so all-consuming because it can never be satisfied. Because just when you satisfy one person's idea of how you should be, the other one says, oh no, I wouldn't be that way at all. Oh, well, then I better meet your model. Oh, but then somebody else comes along and I have to meet their model, and pretty soon you're so fragmented from meeting everyone else's models that you forget your own model. I don't even know who I want to be, and certainly who I am, because we're all awakening beings. We're all the same pure essence of the Holy Spirit, and we forget that so rapidly when we get involved in wanting to be who everyone else says you ought to be.
How can we train ourselves to see that we're in the good opinion? Because I didn't even know I was in the good opinion until I heard about the good opinion. I mean, I had
Well,
no
that's
idea.
because you were so busy doing it
I
that
was.
you didn't recognize it. I liken it to a person in a store who's dressing a mannequin. They're right up in the face of the mannequin, and they're putting hats on or whatever they're putting on, and the people who have some distance are out there saying, tilt the hat, or that doesn't look so good, and